So welcome to the very first video blog, also known as a vlog, being produced here at EarthDance Farms. I'm sitting in front of our library here, and I want to talk about the awesome grafting and organic fruit production workshop that we put on last week. We had Guy Ames come all the way up from Fayetteville, Arkansas to teach this workshop. He works for ATTRA, which is actually the National Sustainable Agriculture Information Service. And they're kind of like the extension agency for the whole country, providing awesome information and resources to all kinds of sustainable farmers. First part of the workshop was on organic fruit production. Main takeaways there: growing fruit organically in this region, really, really tough. This region referring to the eastern half of the United States, where we tend to get a lot of rain. And if you notice when you look at the store where your organic fruit comes from, a lot of it comes from the West Coast. And the reason that he was telling us about why it's so much easier to grow organically there has to do with a lot of the arid climates from which specifically organic fruit is coming from, because so much disease infection is spread through rain. So we can really minimize the pressure, disease pressure, pest pressure, by growing in arid areas. In fact, I read this really interesting stat off the Washington State University website, because I was sure that Washington was just full of rain all the time, but you know, we get a lot of our organic apples from Washington. It says that Washington apples are grown in a desert climate where scant rainfall occurs in the winter months, and the dry, sunny growing season gives growers the advantage of low disease pressures, but requires them to irrigate during the growing season. So that was kind of interesting to me. And he highlighted some of the really cool things we can do that aren't so disease prone by growing things like pawpaws, persimmons, June berries, and other native fruit, because these other fruits that we're so we're so used to growing, things like apples, aren't actually native to the area. Second half of the workshop was actually on fruit tree grafting, which is this mind-blowing concept that a lot of people were new to. And it's so cool because with grafting, we can create new trees without paying a ton of money. A lot of times, you know, you buy a new fruit tree and it costs $20 to $30. If you could graft your own tree, you can buy rootstock, which we bought for less than $1 a piece, and you can get scion wood off of old existing trees, and you can make your own new tree. So you might be asking, what's rootstock? Rootstock is just a tree. So here we've got a rootstock of an apple tree. It's actually MM111 is the name. And it is specifically used for growing apples due to its disease resistance and its ability to grow in all kinds of soils. But it doesn't produce the kind of desirable apples that we want. But it is very vigorous, right? It has certain traits that we love. And so we're going to plant this in the ground, and this is going to be the rootstock, and then we're going to connect that to the scion wood. So we've got rootstock, scion wood. They get cut so that they can actually be matched up like this, and then we would tape them together, and the cells actually form one, and a callus forms over it, and then we've got, once those two cambiums, the actual living cells within this tissue, can join, we've got xylem and phloem, and we can start delivering water and nutrients, and this becomes one. That is what we've got here. We've got the graft union, and this is one of the already grafted trees that we did at the workshop, and we put William's Pride on this particular one, but we are growing a lot of super disease resistant, the most disease resistant varieties of apples are the ones that we are working with. So can you grow them organically? Yes. Is it very difficult? Also yes. Even more difficult is to produce the kind of quality apples that we're so typical of seeing in the grocery store. But if choosing these kind of disease-resistant varieties, we give ourselves a huge advantage just in comparison with some of the ones that they're growing in different parts of the country. So that's all I got for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Matt from EarthDance.